Welcome to the Killzone Liberation Chapter 5 Mystery Pack. We'll be bringing you intelligence on some of the techniques used in creating the levels in Killzone Liberation, and also giving you an example of how the best plans can change during development. We'll be talking with three of the developers today. There's Dennis Zopfi, Senior Designer, Ian Bockhoven, the Lead Artist, and Farid Vahul, a Designer. Hi guys, and thanks for agreeing to be questioned. I'm talking with Dennis Zopfi, Senior Designer on Killzone Liberation, about the initial concept stage of the levels. This isn't the final version of the Liberation user interface we're looking at, is it, Dennis?
No, this is the version that we start with in the mock-up phase. We did like it a lot. It had this arcade feeling. It stood out from the background. You could see Templar's face there, so it was really, really arcadey. But also one of the comments we got was that it was too arcadey and it didn't really connect with the Killzone on the PlayStation 2, so we decided to change it into the version that it is right now.
But the most striking thing still about these levels is that the terrain is formed entirely from white blocks. Why is that?
Yeah, we start with white blocks. We call it mock-up geometry. We begin with this to test the gameplay. It's quick to make, quick to change, and for gameplay testing it doesn't really need to be more complex than this. It's very clear and quick to change.
The ammo box design changed quite a lot too, didn't it?
Yeah, the ammo box went through some variations. It started with this heap of weapons, a big pile of guns and other stuff, but it wasn't really looking that clear in some other levels. Here you can see it very clearly because it's white, but in other levels it blended too much with the background graphics. Also, it was a bit illogic finding syringes in a big pile of weapons, so we changed it into more of a ammo box, a crate that could be dropped by the ISA or something like that. It even had a parachute attached at one point, but we changed it into this green and orange-esque box. That's the ISA.
Oh, this is an early attempt to frame a cutscene, isn't it?
Well, not really a cutscene, but more of a visual indicator to show what's important to the player, telling the player, go here, blow this up, or use me, or something like that. We use it a couple of times in the game, but we try to avoid it, using it too much, because it slows down the pacing, the action. So only when it's really needed or to make something really clear to the player, we do it.
Earlier we saw the Helghast eyes changing colour to reflect their alert state. Was that always a central part of the gameplay?
Yeah, it was always central. We wanted to make the Helghast showing their status with the color of their eyes, if they were aggressive or they didn't notice you. And in the mock-up phase we had some more sneaking-esque missions, but we decided to make it more action. But you can still do some sneaking bits in the final game, only it's more of an option to the player than that you really have to do sneaking.
Oh, this is a fairly simple game objective. Take explosives from the ammo box and use them to demolish the target. Is it a typical Liberation objective?
Yeah, the action itself is very simple, but it's the encounters around it, the other obstacles between you and blowing something up that makes it more hard.
This, of course, is the buddy system in action. How was the decision made to include this gameplay in Liberation?
Well, one thing we really liked from Killzone 1 on the PlayStation 2 was the buddies that helped you out. Only one thing that you couldn't do was order them. So first we tried to also have 3 buddies around you. It was way too much. The screen was cluttered with them. It wasn't clear how to order them. So we trimmed it down to one buddy, Rico here. And you can order him. As you can see, you can say, Rico, go there, target this thing, blow that up. And it all worked very nice with the one buddy. We did include other buddies that help you out along the game, like Luger and Rico and some other VIP characters, some new ones. And it's a lot of fun just ordering your buddy around, helping you out.
We're focusing now on the changes made when these white concept levels reach the art department. Ian is the lead artist on Liberation. Ian, the biggest change is all the detailed texturing we can see here, isn't it?
Yeah, but obviously a lot more work went into it. As you can see here, we modeled the terrain, the rocks, and the whole environment as per the designs that we were supplied with by the visual department. And from these same visuals, we also implemented a texture design to give the landscape that typical Killzone quality.
And lighting the level is a big part of it too, isn't it?
Totally. Because if we don't light the levels, everything looks flat. Everything's going to look like it's straight out of the 1990s. And also shadows and highlights help define the level, so it's easier to see where your character is going.
Oh, hey, this level is actually one we saw earlier as simple white blocks. Were you able to make any changes to the layout for artistic reasons at this stage?
No, no, not at all, actually. Obviously, the game designers have very good reasons to put these crates there, the way they are, because they supply the player with cover. And we could have a say into, we could have our own artistic reasons for advising game design why it would be better to have crates here or there. But if it didn't fly the game design's kite, we basically don't touch it.
And that goes, I guess, even for the buddy cover, the little incidental objects.
Yeah, they were all there, put on very specific places, because if you use the buddy command menu, you see exactly where you can move the buddy to. So, we couldn't touch those points at all.
This mission from Chapter 5 is set in a devastated urban area. So how much effort goes into dressing a scene like this?
Well, first we try to work out with our visual artists to put everything in the right context. So anything that started life as a boring gray box would become something that fits in this destroyed city, like a piece of broken concrete, debris piles, ammo supplies, or whatever else we managed to come up with. Once visual has solved that part of the puzzle for us, we can then start filling in all the blanks, like adding the debris textures, scorch marks, broken supports, and concrete reinforcements. And visual supplies us with a lot of material, usually a lot more than we could realistically produce. But the big advantage of this is that we can then put the best bits in and leave out the less important ones, so that we end up with a unified, coherent look.
Moving on, we're going to discuss a concept that changed considerably during development with Fareed, one of Liberation's designers. This character eventually became the Supreme Trooper, but he started life as something called the Bounty Claw. Tell us a little bit about him, Fareed.
Well, the Bounty Claw was a character we revived from Killzone 1 to appear as a boss character. Because he looked so awesome with his claws and all, it gave us enough room to come up with a cool encounter.
How did the old Bounty Claw encounter work then?
Basically, he would stand up on a platform, then grab and throw explosive barrels at the player. Then at key points, the Bounty Claw would come down and chase the player. To add to that, when he'd be in a certain range, he'd dash into the player using his claw. His claws were also used to shield himself from grenades to whack a nearby player.
Well, it sounds pretty cool. What forced the change in design?
In short, the encounter didn't fit the Killzone universe. The encounter proved to be much more arcadey than we wanted it to be.
So here's our new Bounty Claw, the Supreme Trooper. What's changed in the character design?
He's more a mini-boss rather than an end boss. The Supreme Trooper lost one claw but got a big gun to make up for it. And although he lost the stab dash move, he kept the close range whack and can still shield himself from grenades. And he doesn't have the gorilla walk animation anymore because that was just too cheesy.
Well, the encounter gameplay looks completely different.
Yes, rather than one big open area, we chose for a more confined one with destructible cover. And because the Supreme Trooper is still a big man, he smashes the cover when he's near or just shoots it when you're behind it.
So are you happy with the final version? Do you feel it addressed all the issues?
Yes, the encounter as it is now gives room for a more strategic approach, which is what we wanted with Liberation in general. And to add to that, he's less difficult than a real end boss would be. And a bit slower, so you can think about how you deal with it.
That's all we have time for right now. I'd like to thank Dennis, Arjen and Fareed for talking to us today. And I'd also like to thank everyone who bought Killzone Liberation for their support. We'll be bringing you more articles, features and movies on how the Killzone universe is expanding in the future. Keep your eyes on www.killzone.com. And don't forget to leave us your thoughts and opinions in the user forums.